Hey everybody, I'm Shaq.
And I'm Chris.
And thanks for joining us for another episode of
Let Me Tell You,
where we explore ways to navigate life's transitions and challenges and find motivation to make the necessary changes to live a healthy and full life.
And here's our housekeeping statement. On this podcast, you will hear from social workers, counselors, therapists, and sex coaches. But please remember that we are not your social worker, counselor, therapist, and sex coach. These conversations are for informational purpose only. Please refer to your medical and mental health professional for advice and diagnosis of your specific problem.
And with that being said, let's get into it.
Hello everybody, welcome to Let Me Tell You. This is Chris.
And I'm Shaq. Oh, you waited for me this time.
I sure did.
Oh, wow. You must have been practicing.
Oh my God. Breathe. Share space.
Listen, if you keep practicing, you show enough and get it right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what we talking about today, Chris?
Today we're talking about healthy friendships and what does that even look like?
What does a healthy friendship look like?
Well, that's what we're going to be talking about.
Oh, okay. I think
I
if you put a healthy friendship in the picture, you'll see a picture of us.
Yeah.
You can't see us smiling right now, but I think we have a really
Imagine
healthy friendship.
I think so.
We honest with each other. I don't think we have any secrets. Well, I don't have any
You're
secrets.
probably right.
I don't have any secrets. But my husband always thinks like that's like not good. Like he thinks I need to have secrets.
He thinks you need to have secrets.
Yeah, but I feel like my transparency help other people feel comfortable with being transparent with me.
Mm.
So, but I feel like we know how to. I feel like you do this well. You'll say, before we do this thing, we're gonna say 3 good things,
Right?
Or
right.
I think I've been sounding kind of negative, so let's just pull back a little bit,
right?
So it's like, oh, okay,
right. That's definitely something that we started doing because I know sometimes when one of us starts talking about something. And we're very similar in our responses to situations.
Yeah.
So I would tell my friend, Shakura specifically, I was like, you know what, maybe you don't want to talk about this with me because I'm not going to say nothing different than what you say. I'm probably going to be doing one step up than what you saying. And I'm going to be mad too. And we just finished talking about enmeshment.
Yes, we sure did. Look at that.
And I'm like, you know what, Shakura, you make me mad. I'm going to sit now. I'm going to say, it's not me. It's not me I'm mad. Why you was still with this nonsense?
Going in, right?
Nothing but nothing.
Yes.
I was like, go ahead.
Oh my goodness.
I will not.
She will not.
I was like, you need to call
Tyrone. You better call
one of the mothers of the church. And maybe they'll give you a better outlook because I'm not there yet.
Facts. But it has to be something that's like really. But I feel like there's times when I've like had to say, all right, Christine, I see you're upset. Let's breathe a little bit. Let's come back. Because I feel like we know, like, because we talk so much, we know like we're just emotional right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard and we're emotional. So we need somebody to come in and be like, let's just take a step back. Let's breathe a minute. Let's really think about this thing. Because you know good and doggone well that you ain't going to do X, Y, and Z.
Usually facts.
But it feels like this is the thing that's going to cause me to do the very thing that I thought I would never do.
Mm.
So I think good friends are people who can help you decipher. Like, are you really ready to do that thing? Right. Or you just talking smack?
Yeah, sometimes people be telling the story like, yeah, and he said it to me. And you know what I said? What you said? I told him he could kiss my natural black. I'm like, that's what you said? Or that's what you thought? I mean, I was thinking it, but so what did you say?
Yes.
I gotta do this with my sister all the freaking time. I was like, okay, well, so you thought that or you said that? This is something my household, we always gotta clarify. Because when you tell a story, you're saying whatever sounds best in that moment.
Yeah, how you felt, not what you actually did.
Yes, you're explaining. Your storyline is going from in your head, not necessarily what you said in reality, but what you thought. You know, because the story sounds better that way. Because you get to actually relive that moment in the story, but you're like the hero now.
Yeah.
And as opposed to what you actually said, which might have been nothing.
Yes.
In that whole moment.
Just shook your head like, yeah, okay.
So you told me what you thought. Now tell me what you said.
Yes.
Oh, I said.
What was it really like? Oh, okay. That is so funny because it's so true. That's terrible. That's terrible.
How long does a friendship usually last?
Well, I'm going to get churchy here.
Uh-oh.
Because, they like to say stuff like, it lasts for a season. Some friendships, some relationships, it's just for a season.
This is true, though.
So, depending on the person, a season could be a week. It can be a month. It can be a year.
It could be.
I think seasonal, though, it's not like 5 years. I don't think it's like more than a year. I think that's personal experience. Like, I had a really good friend in college. And I thought we were like going to be like traveling together, doing all this stuff. And she just cut me off. And I was like, hold on, what's going on? Like, you were like the person I shared my secrets with.
Right.
What's happening? And she, to this day, like, she still won't speak to me. I don't try to reach out to her anymore, but like after college, maybe like 2 or 3 years after college, I tried to reach out and she just wouldn't. She just wouldn't. So I feel like a season may not be longer than a year. But of course, that's my personal experience. It doesn't mean that's true for everybody. But seasons are short. We got fall, winter, spring, and summer.
This is true. Now, see, data-wise, every 7 years, we lose half of our friendships.
Really? Are you serious?
Every 7 years.
Wow.
Now, I'm sure this could be more or less for anybody, depending on the person, whatever. But every 7 years, people you lose approximately about half of your friendships.
Well, how many friends do you have to lose half?
And I guess that's also speaks to friends, associates.
Okay.
I don't know if that's involved in
colleagues,
that number.
Co-workers.
Right. Okay. So, and that's...
I think that's valid because sometimes you do have friends at work. Like, they're your work friends. So I can see that, especially if people are changing jobs like every 2 to 3 years. I can definitely see that. And because they're your work friend and they move a job or you move a job, you don't really reach out anymore because you're not really seeing each other like that.
And some of this information that we're going to be talking about today, we also listen to other podcasts. I was listening to, I believe it's called Therapy for Black Girls.
Oh yeah, I love that one.
Yeah. She does great stuff. And she had a person on there, I believe it was Dr. Franco or Dr. Branford, one of those. And she wrote this book called Platonic, How the Science of Attachment Can Help You Make and Keep Friends. And, she was dropping a lot of good nuggets here. And this is one of them about every 7 years we lose half of our friendships. And at first I think anybody was like, oh, that's like shock value. Like, what?
Yeah.
Half of my friends? Yeah. Like, really? But 7 years, first of all, 7 years is a long time.
It is.
Because I can think about 7 years ago, people I used to talk to on a regular basis, I no longer talk to now. Yeah. Not necessarily because, we got in a fight or it kind of like it just, it was good for the time it was good. Yeah. And then it kind of just fizzled out a little bit, for whatever reason. And, or my involvement with those people might be very minimal as opposed to when it was like an every other day situation. Yeah. So, or I got older and maybe I've been through, I don't know. It's really a combination of those kind of things. Yeah. And then it leads back to choosing your friends. Like, how do you choose your friends? Or do they choose you? Or do you just fall into friendships? Or are you intentional in making friends?
Whoa. Slow down.
Oh.
You're saying a lot of good stuff. That is a question. So how many friends do you think you have chosen?
I don't really keep a whole lot of friends. I'm going to say, I can't say I probably have a handful of friends.
Okay.
A handful. Okay. Now, do I have a lot of people that probably consider me to be a friend? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I'm not saying I wouldn't consider them a friend. I guess I'm very, I'm very like territorial with my friendships. Like if you're in my circle, you're in my circle. That doesn't mean you can never get out the circle.
Right.
But it takes a long time to get out. Like
is
if you have to like
circle of trust or the circle of life? It's the circle of life. And then you gotta let's meet the Fockers, the circle.
Oh yes. I love that show. That show's funny.
That was so funny. So which circle is it?
Maybe the Fokker circle.
Okay.
The circle of trust. Yes. But yeah, I don't really keep a whole lot of friends because I feel like it's a lot to keep up with, especially for one who's not really particularly huge on talking on the phone for long periods of time, especially with people that I feel like it's hard for me to get off the phone with. Like I've had friends where like I knew like if I started talking to this person, I would not be able to get off the phone until they are ready.
Okay.
To get off the phone. You know, and that
That's
you
terrible.
know, and it just like it kind of deterred me from calling in the first place. I was like, oh, I know if I want to get off, they're gonna be like, oh, you sure? Like, oh, I just want to, like, oh, you really want to leave? You know, they do that whole thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just want to get off the phone. I don't really have a reason. I'm just done.
Yeah.
Why can't I just be done?
Yeah.
I don't have no reason. I just want to get off the phone. You know, so, and actually the friends I had that was like that, I don't really talk to them that much anymore.
Okay. Every 7 years.
Every 7 years, they say.
Wow.
It might be facts. It might be.
Actually, I feel like you and one of my other friends are only two people I talk on the phone with. And we actually have stuff to talk about.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like you call, someone calls you. You know, I have friends that would call me up and like, oh, I'm just like, you know, not in a great mood. I just like had a bad day, but not really want to talk about their day. Yeah. Oh, just talk to me about how you were. And they just want you to talk for the entire time and entertain and keep it up and keep the energy up. I was like, I gotta have a full day. I don't got time for this.
Yeah.
I'm tired too.
Yes.
If you tired, take a nap.
Listen, now my mama and my aunt, they used to talk all day. Both at work now. They both working. They talk all day. They can talk.
Oh.
And I'm like, what y'all talking about? All day.
I know this is a pot calling the kettle right here. Because I was trying to let it ride, everybody. I was trying to let her go.
What are you talking about?
But there's
what?
Who would always say you always got to be talking to all the freaking daggone time?
My husband.
Oh my daggone goodness. You would have thought they was attached to the daggone hip, folks.
Are you serious?
I'm like, why you can't I don't care where this woman is. Oh, he will find a way to get on the phone and talk about a bunch of stuff that they probably already talked about when she was on.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm just like, Shakura, I don't say nothing.
You're like, no, that's not cheap. Like, what are y'all talking about?
I might throw that in there every once in a while. What are y'all even talking about? Like, y'all be on the phone for like, what are y'all talking? And you talk about your mama.
Listen, I have to admit, though, like, we have some of our best. There are times where I sit outside in the car and talk to him because we just have some of our best conversations over the phone. Like, when we're not in the same space. I don't know if it makes us listen to each other better or it feels easier. I don't know. For some reason, like when we're together, I guess because we have the kids and it's always movement. But when we're on the phone, it's like we can stop and just pay attention to each other. At least that's what it feels like for me. It's like, okay, he's not rushing to go back to do his schoolwork. I'm not rushing because I got to do 5,000 things for the kids. It's like, okay, well, I'm on the phone, he's on the phone, and we just have these conversations about things that we probably talk about for 10 minutes at home. Mm-hmm. I don't know what that's about, y'all, but y'all can try that. It's sort of like, I guess, like if you wanted to say something that was really hard to someone and people suggest, why don't you write a letter?
Okay, I can see that. And you tell the truth, I could probably understand because, you know, my husband and I, we do, you know, I usually call him when I'm driving because I don't have no other distractions.
Right.
When I'm home, I'm not calling my husband when I'm home because I'm watching TV, I'm cooking something, I'm eating something, I'm doing whatever I'm doing. But if I'm in the car driving for 20 minutes, that's the best time to call. Yeah. You know, there's a start and the end time. I know I'm going to be focused on this one thing, you know, and I love starts and end times. This is probably why I like working in the education field because there's a beginning and an end.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
beginnings and ends.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because although I might be excited for the beginning, I'm more excited for the end. So when is this over? How long is this last?
Yeah.
You know, like, can we put a date to it? So yeah. And which leads me to, which I don't know which makes sensical leads me to, but we're gonna go to: is there equity in friendship?
I think it should be equity in friendship.
Mm-hmm. I think there should be too. You know, there's not all the time. Like, is every time 50-50? No.
But is any relationship though?
Not all the time.
There's this guy that I've been listening to. His name is Tim something, and he was talking about friendships, and he was saying, like, when you have good friends and you have equity, it comes with understanding. Like, sometimes it's gonna be 80-30 or 60-40.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's times where it's like you both can be at 100%.
Yeah.
But that equity is important. More importantly, he was saying, like, you should be able to invest something in your friends. Your friends should be able to invest something in you.
Mm.
That's what healthy friendship looks like.
Right.
Because if I'm not doing nothing with my life, then what am I adding? What value am I adding to yours?
Right.
And it felt harsh to say it that way, because when he said it, I was like, what? But then I'm like, when I look at you and I look at my other friends, I'm like, they add value to my life. Mm-hmm. I get that. It's like, it's true. Like,
it's give and take. You can't be in a relationship where you're the only one giving.
Yeah.
Or if you're the only one taking, because the one's going to feel like they're being overused and overwhelmed and taken advantage of, or the other person's going to feel like they're not worth anything, don't really need them. You know, so there has to be some sort of balance for it to be a healthy relationship, whether a friendship, a romantic relationship, or whatever. You know, there has to be something that's being exchanged here. One person can't be providing the everything. And the other person is just...
That sounds like marriage.
It does. And friendship, marriage, relationship, it's pretty much similar stuff, because
you're dealing with human beings.
Right.
Yeah, you're dealing with human beings. I get it though. That it makes so much sense. Like, when he said it, I was like, oh, that just makes so much sense. Like, I should be pulling you up, you should be pulling me up. Like, we should not be like bottomed out, drugging, drinking, not trying to do anything with our lives. Like, that's hopelessness.
Right. And I was going to say, one of the solutions they offered for that, like, if you're feeling overwhelmed or overused in a friendship, have a conversation about how you're feeling, you know, with that, how you're feeling. Have a conversation. Use some I statements. Bring in other friends or other people to offer the needier friend support, you know, so that you're not the only one providing. Because if, you know, everybody's human. Sometimes people are going through something that's really big. They need a lot of support, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Everybody can use a lot of support for a season. Yeah. And sometimes that one friend can't offer you that 24/7 support.
Oh, yeah.
So you might need to bring in, you know, a family member or other friends or other people to come in and team tag this for that amount of time that they need it. And then, you know, so you're sharing that support, right? You know, and then while you're having that conversation, you know, you're letting know there's other friends here and then they're willing to help out, but also bringing into remembrance other positive aspects of your friendship. You know, like, you know, I really liked it when we used to, you know, go on short trips, or I really liked it when we used to have our, you know, wine Fridays every Fridays. I really liked it when you used to live like 20 minutes away.
Yes.
And ultimately, you know, ask for what you need. Yeah. You know, and I think if you're able to have that kind of a, you know, real talk, heartfelt conversation, you know, that I believe makes a friendship grow, become more solid, you know, and because it's not like you're not getting what you need, you know, even like I said, they could be valid. The person really valid, something went through, whatever. Yeah. But you're both getting something. Yeah. You know, you're sharing that load with other people who are around who want to help.
Yeah, it's that word that you used recently, vulnerability. Like, you could be vulnerable with people who you consider your friend, but you need to know that they're your friend. Right. You shouldn't be vulnerable every Tom, Dick, and Sally who, you know,
She said Shelly.
You know, because you just who come around, you just can't be that way. So you need to know who those people are who are in your corner, so you can be vulnerable with them.
Mm-hmm. And vulnerability is important. It actually is proven that the more we self-disclose, the more people like us.
I mean, I think I got that down pat. One of the first things I said was, I think my willingness to be transparent allows other people the freedom to be transparent.
Right.
And I think something I heard about, like, people would say about me is like, they feel like I'm real. Because I'm not, like, it's just like my idea of who I am is like, I am just who I am. I'm never trying to be somebody different. I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
And I don't try to and I know I have faults, and I'm okay with saying I'm wrong and I have faults. And I'm okay with talking to actually, I had to confess this thing today, that I have a friend who I just didn't want to confront, because I was like, this could end our friendship. And I really don't want our friendship to end. But I'm probably not giving her enough credit either. But we're going through something really difficult right now, and I want to say to her how I feel like she's added to that.
Oh.
And so
I'm like, you guys don't see us. I'm like, are you talking about me? Don't be out here putting my business in the street. I'm just kidding, y'all. I'm just kidding.
But yeah, so I said today, like, I don't want to tell her because I don't want our friendship to end.
Why not?
That's a good question. And that's what I said. Like, why am I afraid of losing this friendship? And really it's just because I love her. I really care about her and her family. And
does she care the same about you and your family?
Yeah, she says she do. But, we just had a whole group of people get up and leave, and they said that they cared about us and our family, and they just bounced. Like, no word, no. And I was like, wait, I ate at your table. You've invited my friend, my kids, and my whole family to your house multiple times. So, like, I don't know, because sometimes, people from different states can be, they different type.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But I just briefly processed that today. Like, man, why am I afraid to, like, confront her? Oh, I don't want her to lose the friendship. Why? Because I love her and I care about her. And
are you enmeshed?
I'm not enmeshed. That's the problem. I'm not enmeshed. That's why I feel like I need to share, because I'm not enmeshed. But because I'm not enmeshed, it can cause conflict.
Right. Well, it goes to, truth telling with compassion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because a lot of little things are left unsaid that they add up, and they create such a blockage.
Yeah.
That you feel as if you have to leave this friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or move on without saying anything, but still feeling hurt.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like,
it's true. It's true. Yeah.
I mean, all those little things, and sometimes big things that left unsaid. They might have did something that really hurt you, and you didn't want to say anything because you didn't want to. Or the next time they did something that you thought was kind of disrespectful, kind of rude, but maybe they didn't do it on purpose. Maybe they did, but then they kept doing that thing a little bit, and and you just kept pushing under the rug, and Dad, your rug is a hill.
Yeah, you know what? It reminds me of episode My Little Pony.
Right.
I gotta bring these things in because Pinkie Pie, she's the upbeat one, always like, oh, hey, party, yeah, party. But people kept doing things that were hurting her. And she was like, she created this jar and she kept stuffing everything in a jar until eventually it just all exploded and it turned everything into chaos.
Wow.
Because she never expressed to these people who were her friends how she was really feeling about the comments they were making or the things that were being done.
Yep. Is your jar full?
And that's My Little Pony. No, my jar is not full. My jar is not full.
But you still feel like you need to talk to her?
That's a good question.
I mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't. I mean, you shouldn't wait until your jar is full.
No, that's a good,
you shouldn't.
That's a really good question. Because I wonder if it's just me wanting to, because I disagree, wanting to share how I disagree, or if it's like, or if my jar is full. I don't feel
You shouldn't wait till your jar is full.
Yeah,
that's not the. I think that was the point of the Little My Little Pony.
Right.
Like she should have, when she put one in there, you should have addressed it.
Right. Yeah. True.
You know.
Yeah. That's good. That's good.
Okay.
So being able to tell the truth.
Right.
And not leaving a lot of little things. So when we did our first marriage, when me and my husband started talking to other married couples before we got married, a woman who we love dearly, she recently passed away. I never forget, she said to us, deal with the little things. Because the little things are the ones that turn into big bombs.
Yeah, they do.
That's what she told us.
They do.
Yeah.
It could be as simple as your partner not taking out the trash.
Yeah.
And that could turn into like, and it's not, and the thing is, I think people get stuck on, oh, it's just trash. Why don't you just take it out yourself? Oh, just trash. But I don't think they consider what that means to the other person.
Yeah.
You know, the other person might have grew up in a household where, you know, their father took care of everything. Right. They took out the trash, they fixed all the stuff, they paid the bills, they did all that stuff. And that's how you, in your mind, that's how you gauge, this is what a real man looks like. They take out the trash, they do this, they do that. And when you get into your own, you know, space and the person that you're with doesn't do that, it's kind of like, oh, wait a minute. Something's wrong here. And it's not all about the trash. Then you start rethinking about other stuff. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's not just the trash. It's the perception you put on
that,
what
the
it
action.
means.
Yeah, the action.
Yeah. You know, because
I was just thinking we should do a topic on the 5 love languages. Because it talks about acts of service.
Yeah.
Right? I feel loved because I don't have to ask you to take out the trash. Oh, now, okay, so you might not have seen this, or maybe you have, is this reel that keeps coming on, and the woman, every time she walks in the room, she'd be like, babe, I'm going to wash and he's washing dishes. And
I love that one.
Yes, and I'm like, man, that's how I feel. I feel like if I saw you doing the dishes or taking out the trash or folding the laundry and just so you can make my day easier, like, yeah, I definitely feel like I'll have a lot more room to be more sexual, be more turned on, more aroused, so that we can get it on.
Yeah,
is that thing is like doing the unexpected. So anyway, just going back to the acts of service or acts of kindness, right?
Yeah. And that, like you said, works both ways. It works with friendships, works with relationships, romantic or otherwise.
Oh yeah.
You know,
bring us back. We talking about friendship, Lord.
And are you?
We ain't talking about marriage. Yes. We ain't talking about sex.
Sorry, y'all.
Friends. Will they stand their ground? Will they let you down again? Oh. So that's what we talking about.
Oh. I was about to say the next one. Okay.
Yeah. So that's what we talking about.
Yes. So do your friends challenge you to grow? You know, do your friends elevate you or do they bring you down?
Hey, y'all, all my friends are the same and they always go off on me. I be like, why y'all all telling me off? I'm a whole grown woman.
Grown.
I remember I was in the car, I was talking to my friend and I was talking about money. And I was talking about how to get extra money. I don't care how many times I tell the story. It is funny because I was so lost. I was like, yeah. And then she was like, hey, Shaq, you know how you can get some extra money? I was like, how, girl? How can I get some extra money? She was like, get a job. You just got a whole degree. How? Go get a job.
I like that friend. I like that friend.
Get a job. Get a job. Get a job. It's terrible. You should have saw my face. I was like,
I wish it was recorded.
It was so unexpected. I'm thinking she about to tell me something.
The secret.
The secret is go get a job. She's like, you just did 16-month program to get a whole degree, and why you ain't working? Terrible.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So yes, do your friends bring you up or bring you down?
Facts. Yeah, facts.
And let's talk a little bit about productive anger.
Ooh.
Using anger as
I'm sorry. Here's a new term for you boys and girls. Productive anger. Tell us about productive anger, Chris.
Okay. Productive anger is using anger as a marker signal that something needs to be changed.
Huh.
So similar to how you're in regular life, but let's say specifically in friendships.
Mm-hmm.
If you're starting feeling angry with your friend, something's wrong. Okay. A boundary was crossed.
Yeah.
A toe was stepped on. You know,
shoe was scuffed.
Whatever. Yeah. Shoe was scuffed. You know, and you really need, instead of like just trying to like diminishing your feelings. Oh, you know, I shouldn't feel angry. I shouldn't be. You know, they probably just. Instead of doing all that anger right there, that was a light flashing. Yeah. That was a marker signal. That's something you need to pay attention to, because obviously. Hello, car.
I know.
Obviously.
Thank you.
This is your mind, body, whatever, telling you that something isn't right here. Yeah. Like something's not sitting right with you. And is it sometimes you? Sometimes it's the other person. Yeah. And even if it is you, having a conversation around it wouldn't hurt.
Yeah, facts. So, and we don't ever want to have the hard conversation.
Yeah.
Because if you're like me, you don't want to lose the friendship. But if it's a true friendship, I've never felt like I couldn't talk to you about something. Mm. I've never felt that way. Mm-hmm. I've never felt like I was in jeopardy of losing your friendship.
No.
So I need to process that. Like, why do I feel like I'm in jeopardy of losing her friendship?
I don't know.
That's crazy.
Well, she's obviously.
Or maybe because I've just known you longer and I haven't known her as long as you. And
if you lost her friendship, would that be such a terrible thing?
Yeah. Okay. I haven't even processed it. I really need. Like, it just came out today. Like, oh, I don't want to confront her, and it's not even a confrontation. It's just kind of.
Because you think she would tell you she didn't want to be your friend anymore if you told her?
I think it'd be hard for her to hear, and I think inadvertently she could stop speaking to me. Yeah, I think so.
Well, if that's the case, I mean, then maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I see. You guys, me and Shaq are two totally different people.
Yeah. Even though we have the same kind of thoughts sometimes, but we go about.
I'm like.
Yeah.
Take it or leave it. Like, I can leave you or take you. I mean, depending on who you are. Because if you're one of them friends that I hold to the chest, okay, that's different. But even then, I wouldn't be afraid to say something.
Yeah.
You know, not because I wouldn't be afraid because I think you would leave. It would be more so because I have shame around it.
Okay.
Not so much because I'm afraid of you leaving.
Maybe that is good. That's profound. Let's go back. Maybe it's because I have shame around it. There can be some shame. Mm. I might have some shame.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see that. But like, say, if I say this thing, they're just gonna be mad and won't want to talk to me again. Yeah. I'm like, that sounds really.
Yeah.
I'm like, if they gonna do all that, then it wasn't worth my friendship in the first place. Because I'm like, forget you then. I don't need you. That's my first thing I'm saying. Now, not my first thing, but in my mind, it's my first thing.
Yeah.
I don't need this chick for whatever.
Yeah, what for? What for, Lord? What I need you for?
I got a mother. I got a sister. I got a brother.
Yeah. Hello. You don't need nobody else.
Like, whatever. But that's not the best way to think, I'm just saying. But yeah. So wrapping all that up, a healthy friendship, that means you having.
Wait. Go back for a second, real quick. What is the difference between choosing your friends and your friends choosing you?
What's the difference?
Yeah.
Well, I would think when you choose your friends, you're using the guidelines, I guess, that you that are your deal breakers with friendships. Things that you're going by your own expectations of how you believe they should be and act, and you're going, you are deciding to be vulnerable with that person because you're choosing them as a friend. Now, if they're choosing you, you might not be as vulnerable because you're not as all in as you were when you chose them.
Yeah.
You know, like kids who get adopted. You know, these parents chose these kids. They went out their way. They got them. They went to China or Africa. Where do we got around the corner? Where we got the kid from?
Yeah.
And you chose them. You saw all this stuff. You saw all their faults and all this stuff, and you chose them, knowing because you. But for people who have natural children, I'm not saying that's like better or worse or whatever.
Yeah.
But they chose you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that makes sense. Because you didn't do any decision making in there.
Right.
They came out because they chose.
Yeah.
You.
Yeah.
So, you know, that doesn't mean you love them less.
Right.
But I think maybe it's just, I don't even know if that was a good example, but, you know, because essentially, you know, people can say, you know, we're all kind of arguments with that.
Yeah.
But,
But I get it, though. It's this, like, because I wonder, like, when your friends choose you, do you feel that you can be as vulnerable? Do you feel like you can have a big say in their life? Do you feel like you can be an influence on them or they can be an influence on you? Or are you always constantly worried that somehow you can lose the friendship because they weren't your choice, you were their choice? And you just kind of went along. You just kind of fell into the friendship.
Right.
And I wonder, based on that conversation, on that podcast, what was the name of it again?
Black Girls. Therapy for Black Girls.
Yeah, Therapy for Black Girls. Based on that conversation, I wonder, that 7-year period, is it friends who have, is it people who have chosen their friends? Is it from people who have fallen into friendship? Or is it from people who have chosen the other person? That would be interesting to know. Yeah. I don't know how it would affect this, but it still would be interesting to know, like, hey, every 7 years is that, but we see that the number is larger when it comes to friends who just kind of fall into friendship. And I would think
the lady wrote a whole book about it, so I'm sure it's in there.
Because I would think falling into friendship is kind of like you and I are friends, and then I have another friend and she comes along with us, and y'all become friends because you and I are friends. And maybe that's not as a strong or solid friendship as you and I have, but you still like talk to her when I'm not around. Y'all go out when I'm not around because y'all developing this friendship. And I wonder if those are the type of friendships that only last for about 7 years.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly. Because usually those kinds of friendship, you're not really going through heavy stuff with it. You're not telling them deep, dark stuff. Yeah. It's kind of like a light friendship.
Keep it light, yeah.
You know, because you can't really get mad at someone you only keep in light with. You know, you're not talking about no, you know.
I can't suspect that you were in a friendship in 7 years with the person who you share your most intimate details with.
I think the ones that I do know that I no longer really close with right now, no. I never shared no deepest, darkest secrets with these people.
Okay, yeah.
I think I was superficial. I wouldn't say at best, but I was superficial. I mean, I shared some things, but not like stuff that
serious
like
things.
You know, I shared some stuff, and so did they. You know, we were going through similar, you know, issues at the time or similar scenarios at the time. But I can't remember talking about like some real deep type stuff. But you know, I don't know. Yeah. But I know we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up, you guys. We can keep talking about this. We could,
yeah.
You know,
actually, that segues. Once you guys join in the conversation, Like, what do you think about friendships in the every 7 year kind of type of rotation? And did you choose your friends, or did your friends choose you? And until next time, we look forward to seeing your responses.
Yep.
Deuces.
See you next week. Thank you for listening to another episode of Let Me Tell You with
Shaq
and Chris. We will bring you another episode next Wednesday at 7 p.m. To get notifications and to listen to past episodes, please follow and like us on Instagram at lmtu.sc, on Facebook and YouTube at Let Me Tell You. And of course, if you're listening to us on Podbean, make sure to follow us. Lastly, let me tell you to live a healthy and full life.